Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Council of Elrond, brought to you by the Mellon Heads. On today's episode, we continue on from last week, answering questions sent in to us by you guys. Questions such as, stupidest way we've injured ourselves, what our favourite Star Wars characters are, and what our opinions on Eru Iluvitar and Melkor out in the void are. There's really some great questions to get through, so there's no time to delay. I'm Dave, and here with me as usual is my co-host Johnny.
Questions that need answering.
So just a quick shout out first. I want to give a huge thank you to Brian Seeley. That's Brian with a Y, by the way. He's just become a member on our Buy Me a Coffee account. He thanked us and said this is his favourite Lord of the Rings podcast out there. So thank you so much, Brian. Your contribution means so much. And if you would like to become a member and get a shout out on our podcast, head over to buymeacoffee.com/the Mellonheads. So our first question this week comes from H. Shala on Twitter, and they say, give us your favourite Star Wars characters.
I mean, I'm just going to say Han Solo. Han Solo is, for me, the coolest Star Wars character. He's like, that's who you want to be when you're watching the original Star Wars. You're thinking he's like the coolest. He's just, Harrison Ford is just slick and suave, and he's funny, he's strong, he's a good warrior. He can get out of tight situations, and he can talk his way out of any sort of trouble. So I just think he's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Well, my favorite would be Obi-Wan from the prequels, but I also I love lots of them, like Han, Luke, obviously, and Vader, and I actually really like Kylo Ren from the new ones. He would be, I don't know, I just think he's a really cool character.
Yeah, Adam Driver he portrays that really well. I do think that Kylo Ren's probably the best thing about the new Star Wars
sequels,
movies.
But for me, Obi-Wan would be...
It's a good answer. It's a very good answer, yeah.
He's the perfect Jedi, really. Oh, well, is he? I don't know. Maybe Qui-Gon's the perfect Jedi, but like Obi-Wan is especially from watching the Clone Wars TV show as well, the voice actor that they got for Obi-Wan is like almost even better than Ewan McGregor. He's like very, I don't know, Anakin. Like he's just, I don't know, he's very...
How uncivilized.
Yeah, how uncivilized. I just love Obi-Wan. And I can't wait for the Kenobi series, so looking forward to that one.
That'll be good. It's going to be good.
8 times a mate on Instagram asks, stupidest way you've injured yourself. I've got 2 answers for this.
You go ahead. I need to think of one.
Well, okay, so you'll be able to back me up on this. So to remember, apparently when I was younger,
I know what you're going to say.
My aunt was babysitting.
Is it with the BB? The BB gun?
Oh, that was my other answer. So the first of all, I was going to say when I was younger and our aunt was minding us, or she was just babysitting me. I ran to the toilet and I must have picked out one of those like blue biscuit things, and that cleaned the toilet, and I shoved it in my mouth and ate it. And I had to go to hospital.
Oh,
and
gross.
Did you not hear this? No,
I probably just forgot about it because it was useless information.
Dude, I can't move my left hand because so I had to go to hospital, and my aunt was like mortified apparently. But the other one
was this in her house?
I don't know where it is. I don't know where it was now, to be honest.
I don't remember.
The whole thing, I can't remember. I blacked out.
How old were you?
No, I was only a wee child, probably 2 or 3 or something.
All right.
I don't know.
I can't remember that at all.
But yeah, the other one was when I was younger and I shoved a pellet gun pellet up my nose. And I hadn't mastered the skill of blowing my nose at that stage. Do you know when you're a kid and you don't know how to blow your nose? Your parent puts like a tissue over your nose. Is this just me or is this everyone? I think it's everyone. And you can only go and sniff up the...
I remember that. You had some weird like mental block where like mom or dad will put a tissue on your nose and they'd be like, right, blow your nose, and you just like inhale up your nose. I was like, no, you idiot, the opposite.
I didn't know it was possible.
I know, yeah. And it was just a funny, silly thing until you actually got a BB gun, like pellet, like the little, like the hard little small, like, I don't know, how would you describe it? If you don't know what a BB gun pellet is, go look it up.
Like a little, yellow sphere thing.
Yeah, and then you got one of those lodged up your nose, however you managed to do that. And then you couldn't actually blow down, so it just went further and further.
I just kept sniffing it up higher.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's in my brain now.
That was little stupid young Dave was I miss him. Now we're just stuck with stupid old Dave.
Yeah. So what about you? Any stupid injuries?
I've got a definitely really stupid one, which was when I don't know how old I was, but I was not young. I was probably like a teenager, and I was opening a can of dog food for our then dog, and it's one of those ones where you clip the little thing on top, and you pull up the metal lid or the tin lid.
Yeah.
And it kind of got caught. It kind of got caught about halfway, and it got jammed. And instead of continuing to pull on the little lever thing, I decided to use my thumb to shove the thing open and to push it open. And I just pushed my thumb into the actual top of the tin, which was very sharp. And I just pushed the whole thing open using the force of my thumb. And then when I took my thumb back out, I realized that the thing had just sliced all the way into my thumb and pretty much through my thumb. And I basically nearly cut off the top of my thumb. It just kind of basically hung backwards by the nail.
No.
And did you not know about this?
No, I don't think so.
Dave and I clearly don't take any interest in each other's injuries. We're just like, what's that? Your thumb's hanging off? Whatever. Deal with it, man.
Was I there?
I don't know. Probably. I'd say so. I was probably...
Wait, this is when we had a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I was
How old were you?
I was only, I don't know what age I was, but I barely remember anything. I was drunk the whole time. But I was too young. I barely
Drunk
remember
baby.
the dog at all.
So I just have a nice big scar that goes like from one side of my thumb all the way around to the other side.
Interesting.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I kept my thumb, and I'm happy with that. I can give a fine thumbs up now.
Yeah,
and
thumbs up.
I can hitch a lift, and my thumb is fully active.
That's great. Dagirox Forever 7 on Twitter asks, what's one thing that always makes you happy besides Lord of the Rings / Tolkien stuff? Why does it make you happy? So what makes you happy, Johnny?
What makes me happy?
Apart from me and recording these podcasts.
Apart from you and this podcast, and that's it. That's all I need in life. Well, I'm a guitarist. I love playing guitar. So for me, what makes me happy is hearing a master guitar player belting out a solo at max volume. Mm. So for example, David Gilmour just bending strings is what brings me joy. And the why is obvious. It's just like, that's when you hear music through your skin and through your organs and not actually just through your ears. It's just when you're driving your car and you've got like, I don't know, you're listening to Comfortably Numb turned up to full max volume, and you're just hearing David Gilmour do what he does, and that's...
And then are you comfortably numb?
I'm numbly comfortable.
Yeah, it's an anomaly.
So that's it for me, I think. Hearing people like that do what they do at the top level. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't even think about music, which would definitely be one, because we are quite musical in this family, and I enjoy doing that. But I would say the first thing that always comes to my mind is playing football. Just the feeling of it. I can't say that about watching football, because sometimes it can be horrendous. But definitely playing football, especially under the lights on a cold evening in Oranmore, playing six-a-side
in Stoke.
Yeah, with the gloves on, and then probably coming home knowing that you have a Champions League match recorded. That's
actually a class feeling.
It's a good feeling, isn't it? That would probably be for me. Also, do you know that feeling when you wake up in the middle of the night and you look at your phone and it's like, oh, nice one, the alarm is not going off for another 3 hours. I love that feeling of going back to sleep.
Hate that.
What?
I hate that.
Really?
Because I'm just like, I'm not a good sleeper. So whenever I wake up and I have like a few hours before my alarm, I always just I start to panic that I won't be able to get back to sleep, and I'm just going to be like, oh no, I haven't slept well. And if I wake up, if I wake up like just before my alarm, I'm thinking like, nice one, I have really made the most of that sleep, and I've really maximized my sleep there. That's the way I think of it.
I mean, those kind of ones where you're nervous about something, like maybe it's just work, and for some reason you're nervous about getting up or waking up on time, and you've an alarm set and you're like, I really don't want to miss it, I don't want to sleep in, and then you actually wake up way before and you're like, oh, nice one, I get to go back to sleep now. I don't know, that's just I love that feeling. But yeah, that's it. So next question on Twitter comes from Dak and Schultz, and they ask, if you had to recast at least one character from Lord of the Rings, who would it be? Who would you replace them with, and why that character / actor?
Again, great question. I like this one a lot, but I did find it difficult to try and think up of another character, because obviously we get so attached to the characters and the actors that already played from the original cast. But the character that I would replace would be Frodo, and I think I would do a more close to in the books version, where he's actually 50 years old rather than an 18-year-old hobbit. So that way I can kind of escape swapping out one character, and I don't want to single some person out and say, you know, this person wasn't actually that good, so I don't want it to seem like that. So it's a completely just different style of Frodo in this movie, and I think I'd go for someone like I suppose Edward Norton.
Oh yeah, great shout.
I really like Edward Norton. I think he's one of my favorite actors. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and also he's now around, I'd say he's probably early 50s. So that'd be he'd be the right age for it as well. And that's my answer. What about you?
Yeah, great answer. I would think maybe someone like, for Boromir, I would have Christian Bale. I don't know why. I think probably because he's such a tank, and well, first of all, he's really heroic and everyone loves him, but he definitely does have that kind of dark side to him. I don't know.
He's got that short fuse.
Yeah, he's got that short fuse where he could just blow his head off on set at any moment. But also he's just very brooding, and I don't know. There's something really, I don't know, kind of like
Boromir-esque,
royal and majestic, and you could really imagine following him into battle, and he would be a proper warrior, and I can nearly imagine him saying all the lines Boromir says. So he would be my choice.
Yeah, it's very good. Very, very good. I'd like to see that.
Stories from Jack on Twitter asks, what do you think Eru Iluvitar and Melkor are doing out in the void after the end of the First Age? Fortnite matches? Bake-offs? A really long, awkward silence? So, what do you think?
Well, I don't know, first of all, exactly what he means from his question, because, just to give people an idea of what he's talking about, he says, what do you think Eru Iluvitar and Melkor are doing out in the void after the end of the First Age? So Melkor gets cast out into the void, and the void is just this place in Tolkien's universe which exists kind of without time, without space, and it's just this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a vacuum sort of thing, I suppose.
Is that where Gandalf went when he died?
No, Gandalf would have
drifted out of thought and time.
It's good shout, but no, Gandalf wouldn't have gone there. He would have gone, we're not sure, back to maybe the Timeless Halls, I suppose, which is actually where Iluvatar dwells. He is not in the void, so that's why I'm a bit confused by this question. Some people, I think, they think that Iluvatar is in the void, but I believe he's in the Timeless Halls, which they have similar qualities to the void. There's no time, but I think they are different spaces. They're different areas in Middle Earth. Well, not in Middle Earth, in Tolkien's world. So I don't know if that's what he means, where I don't know if his question is saying that they are together, but they're definitely not together. But to answer his question, I don't know. I mean, what are they doing out there? They're probably spending a lot of time watching the extended editions. Maybe they're playing all the Lord of the Rings video games that we spoke about in our video games episode, and they're getting to like master levels and all of them. But I don't know. It's a fun question to always contemplate, like we've done before with what do you think the Balrog gets up to on his day-to-days, or things like that. They're always kind of fun little
and
things
it could be Fortnite matches or bake-offs or a really long awkward silence. So I don't know. But yeah, that's some good knowledge you're spitting at me there. But if anyone has an opinion on this as well, please send it in. We'd love to hear it, and maybe we could read it out in a future episode down the line.
Yes, please.
So I'm the real Grogu on Twitter asks, who is your favorite and least favorite character in The Mandalorian, and give reasons why.
My favorite and least favorite character from Mandalorian. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously the main character, like Pedro Pascal, is class. He plays that role brilliantly, even without seeing his face. But I kind of said I'd go for somebody that wasn't going to be the main guy, so I went for Carl Weathers.
Oh yeah,
who plays Grief Karga, and I think he's so cool. He's cool AF, and he has got he's got a great voice as well. I absolutely love his voice, and
brilliant.
I don't know. I just really like him. I think he's a likable guy as well on the series.
And on set as well. It seems like everyone loves him.
Yeah, exactly. That was another thing that I saw, because obviously I think we both watched the behind the scenes and the making as well, and he's really cool in that as well. And you just get this idea that this guy's a legend. So I don't know. I think I liked him a lot on that. And least favorite character, I don't really have a least favorite character, but if I had to choose one person, I think I'd maybe just go for like Moff Gideon, who was like Gus from Breaking Bad. Again, this is maybe a harsh call, but I just think there was such build up to this like big baddie, and then like I thought I thought his portrayal of that character was very good, but I thought the character, like the way he was written, just didn't really ever live up to what I was expecting, maybe. But
I think there's more to come.
It's not the actress, but that's true as well. That could be the case. Yeah. But I thought I was expecting a little bit more, big scenes and whatever from. And again, as I said, I'm not blaming it on the actor. I think he did a great job of what he was given, but I was just maybe left wanting a little bit more from him.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I think, don't worry there.
Okay.
I think there will be more to come, hopefully. But I do understand what you mean by, I think at the end of loads of episodes, especially in the first season, he would like talk the talk, and he would like call Din Djarin and be like, you have something that I want.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you and all this stuff. And it was all this talk. And then at the end, it was just kind of like not much of a big battle. But yeah, hopefully there's more to come.
Just like you, I went for kind of a side character as well, rather than the obvious Din Djarin or Grogu. I went for the character Kuil, because he's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Organaut? Or,
I
can't remember what the species is called.
Nick
Nolte plays him, yeah.
Nick Nolte, yeah.
Yeah,
he was brilliant. Yeah, he's the one that says, like, I have spoken.
I absolutely loved him. Yeah, and when he dies, it's devastating as well. He only has a couple of episodes, but devastating. And
oh man, and that death as well, where you're on the edge of your seat, it's so tense. It's like, did he do it? He's
so selfless in the show. And for my least favorite character, I went for Fennec Shand. Do you remember her? She's the hunter that like tracks down Din in season 1, and then she just it seems like she gets killed, but then she shows up in season 2 with Boba Fett. And I just remember in season 1 when it looked like she died, and then there's that foot that lands beside her, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, is that Boba Fett?" And then turns out it was Boba Fett.
Yeah, I remember.
And she was there in season 2, and I was like, what's her deal? What's her story? Why is she there? And then she shows up at the very end, like drinking that, I don't know, that blue
stuff.
Yeah. And I'm only saying she's my least favorite because she's done absolutely nothing in 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and I don't know what she offers, but like again, she'll probably be a complete badass in season 3 or the Book of Boba Fett. She's also in The Bad Batch, and she's kind of a character in that as well. She's maybe a bit cooler in that, but I don't know, forgettable.
One other answer that I had considered, I had contemplated, was the guy that Bill Burr plays as well.
Oh yeah,
possible. Well, no, I was going to say as a least favorite.
Oh.
Because I mean, I loved him on the show, and again, I would never. This was not my answer because in the end, I could never say that. But my reason was going to be because Bill Burr is so famous and he's one of my favorite comedians. So whenever I saw him on screen, it was just taking me out of maybe the world of this Mandalorian, this the Star Wars world. So I kind of was like, oh, look, it's Bill Burr. And, it kind of just sort of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
And
okay,
so
I get you.
Whenever something like that happens, but it wasn't enough to make me dislike the character because I thought he played that character really, really well. And I'm a huge Bill Burr fan. He's one of my favorite comedians. So that was just, as I said, I was kind of struggling for my least favorite because I really enjoyed most actors' portrayals of all the characters on it. So great show.
This is the way.
Hello, love.
Oh, hey, Mum.
Hi, darling.
How are you? How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good now. Lovely to see you.
And you too, lovey. Are you doing your podcast, yourself and your bro?
We are. You're on now. You're on an episode.
You're
Oh,
on.
great.
We might keep this in. Yeah.
What would we like to talk about?
Gothmog?
What's your opinion on the leader of the Balrogs?
Well, he was a bit of a bully.
Bully rag.
He was a bully rag. Yeah, he was. Yeah. I'm not a fan. Should I be?
Not a fan. No, you're dead right. You're dead right there, Mum.
Yeah, I didn't
wise
like him.
words coming from Mammy Clark there.
Just didn't.
Mum, before you go, give us your best Smeagol impression into the microphone.
What does he say? My precious. Oh, yeah. My precious. It's a wrap. Love you.
It's Shawnee C Baby on Instagram asks, between the two of you, who would be Frodo and who would be Sam and why? Like, I like mashed potatoes, and roast chicken.
I know, but that just means you're trying to steal Sam, aren't you?
Oh, I can be Frodo. But you like to act like a little bitch sometimes. I don't want to take that from you.
I've been stabbed in the left shoulder by the Witch King,
exactly.
so we've got that in common. I don't know. Strange question.
No, I think it's a cool question, but I just
mean,
don't know how to answer.
No, it is a cool question, but it's just like it's hard to kind of say we have to be one of those characters because like you could say like what kind of a duo are we? Are we a Frodo and Sam? Are we a Merry and Pippin?
It's
are
true.
we a
Or a Legolas
Batman and Robin?
Gimli?
Are we Dumb and Dumber? So I don't know if I would say that we definitely have one.
Why
of those
did you
qualities.
finish on Dumb and Dumber?
Because I think that's the most fitting for both of us, probably.
All right, so who's dumb and who's dumber?
I think we're both dumb and dumber.
Fair enough.
So I don't know. I absolutely love roast chicken and mashed potatoes as well. Well, I love any type of potatoes.
Do you like gardening?
No, I do not like gardening, but neither do you.
I love gardening.
You do not.
I love it. I love it.
So I don't know.
I don't know. We'll let the listeners decide who's more
Let the
Frodo,
listeners
who's
decide
more Sam.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, but if I was to choose, I could say like from the movies, I'd go for I would like. Well, let's just put it this way. I would say I would like to be seen as the Sam from the movies, but I could also say Frodo from the books. I'd love to have some of his qualities as well. He's a really
wise.
strong leader. He's really wise. He's knowledgeable. He's looked up to by all his peers and by not just his peers, by pretty much everybody. Even he gets the respect of the elves, and wherever he goes, he gets respect. So he's it's an interesting question. But yeah, I agree with Dave. We'll leave that one up to our listeners. You guys can vote on it. Tell us
Let
which one
the
of us you
ring
think.
bearers decide.
Potatoes.
Flawed Disciple on Twitter asks, if you had to summarize it, if you had to point to just one thing, what is it specifically in or about Lord of the Rings that lodged in your soul and changed you? After all, that's what makes good books great. They change you for the better. So, Johnny.
Lovely question.
Deep.
It's deep, but he also says, or he or she also says, you have to point to just one thing. So we're going to have to keep our answers short and concise. And so my answer would be the sense of adventure is what really lodged in my soul. And that's the one thing that kind of, I don't know, the whole world of Middle Earth, the adventure that can happen inside that world is, the possibilities are endless. And like, that's why my favorite film out of the three is The Fellowship, because that's the beginnings of it all. That's where, you know, the first stones of the avalanche are starting to fall. And it's like, that's where, like, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. It's just this open possibility and this open adventure. So that's for me what really dragged me in.
Oh, very good. I don't want to read out my answer now. Because I didn't do a deep answer.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's a great answer. I wrote down meat's back on the menu. I don't know.
That's they're fresh.
Yeah. I don't know. I like your answer. The sense of adventure. Maybe. What else? Maybe the fact that there's some good in this world worth fighting for. There
Very
you go.
nice. Very nice. Good job.
But yeah.
Saved it.
Looks like meat's back on the menu.
ADHP 2011 on Instagram asks, do you guys like Harry Potter, The Maze Runner, The Hunger Games, Dune, X-Men? So there you go. There's a lot of things there.
So do I just go yes, no, yes, no, whatever, John, through the list?
Okay, so I'll say Harry Potter, Johnny.
Oh yeah, I'll just say I've never seen The Maze Runner, so I can't say yes or no. I've never seen Dune, or I haven't seen it yet, because is that just out? That's the new movie, isn't it?
There is a new one coming. I think there was one made years and years ago.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe
I've never seen it, so
80s.
I'm looking forward to the new one. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but it looks pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I've never seen Maze Runner. The Hunger Games, nah, I didn't really like that very much. Maybe I don't know if I've seen them all. I don't even know how many there are. I've definitely seen the first two. I think I enjoyed the first one, but it was like, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go back to it again, really. I love the original X-Men movies. The X-Men movies with Hugh Jackman. Again, when I said the original, there's been loads since. And
it's fair to say like there was a trilogy, really.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
X-Men 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they kind of branched out.
Yeah, and there's all like Days of Future Past and all this kind of stuff. I'm not a fan of the newer ones. I really loved the original trilogy. They were fantastic. And what was the other movie? Harry Potter. I never really like Harry Potter as a kid, and I never watched it. I don't know. I remember being into Lord of the Rings, and I was just like, Lord of the Rings is so much cooler than Harry Potter, so why would I ever even want to watch it or something like that? So I kind of like didn't watch it or didn't read it ever until quite recently. Do you remember maybe about 3 or 4 years ago? I think at Christmas one time, you and I just like knocked out about 5 Harry Potter movies in 5 days or something. So that was my first time ever watching them, and I think I went on then and I watched the rest of them, and they were good. They were a lot better than I was expecting. I kind of had some weird preconceived idea about them, but I wouldn't say I'm a Harry Potter fan. Like, I mean, I've seen all the movies maybe just the once, and I've forgotten quite a lot about them. I don't really remember too much. They didn't connect with me as much as, like, for example, Lord of the Rings does. So enjoyable movies. I like them, but not my
cup of tea.
Not my cup of scald.
Yeah, fair. And then my answers simply would be Harry Potter, love it. X-Men, really liked them as well. I'd say Harry Potter out of all these would be my favorite. Loved the movies. And X-Men, I love the first 2, definitely. The third one, I think I've only seen that a couple of times, like the Last Stand, I think it's called, and I just remember it not being great, but I liked that as well. And then there was all the other ones that came after, like Origins, The Wolverine, Days of Future Past, and all that kind of stuff. I actually really liked Days of Future Past.
I liked Logan.
Logan, that was class. Yeah, that one was brilliant.
That was
almost like its own thing.
Yeah, it was kind of.
But yeah, there was also like First Class and Apocalypse and all those. I've never even seen the last 2. I think Apocalypse and whatever not Scarlet Witch, whatever your one is, I can't remember her name.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix might be the name of it. Is it Jean Grey when she's younger?
Jean Grey, yeah. It's your one from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, never seen it. Sophie Turner,
yeah.
And then Hunger Games will probably be next on that list. But I don't even know if I've seen the last one or two. I loved the first two. And
Okay.
like I read the first book and I loved the first movie, and then the second one I thought was kind of similar as well, but I really liked it. And then after that, it just started getting way too much into like the crap behind the scenes, and I just didn't really care for that. Dune, same as you. I haven't seen the movie. Haven't read the book. But I'm really looking forward to the new movie because all the actors and actresses in it. And then the Maze Runner, interestingly enough, I watched the first one recently with my girlfriend. She loves these movies, and I was like, sure, we'll stick it on here. And I enjoyed the first one. It was good. It was similar to the Hunger Games. It's like, everyone kind of wakes up and they're in this field and there's a huge maze in front of them, and the door opens like every day or something. And that's the only way to get out. But they have certain people that run in to like try and map out where to go, and then they have to come back before the doors close, or else these monsters will kill them or something like that. And it was interesting, like, but the end finishes on a massive cliffhanger, which obviously leads into the next movie, and we haven't seen that. So I don't know, I feel like I've yet to decide whether I like them or not, because I forgot to watch the next one. But yeah, that's it.
Very good.
Next question comes from Rohitki77 on Twitter, and they say, imagine you were chosen to take the ring to Mount Doom. Of the 9 companions, whom will you choose? You can only take one companion.
So,
don't know. Could be a number of people, because I've got a lot of people on the Fellowship that are great choices. But I think you're really going to just go between Aragorn and Gandalf, aren't you? I mean,
yeah, Gandalf is mine.
Gandalf for his just wisdomous moments, and Aragorn for being like the epic leader and warrior that he is. But I think you'd have to go for Gandalf. He's a Maya spirit. He knows everything that's going on. He's gonna, how are you gonna fight the Balrog if you're just there? Like, I mean, Aragorn's class and all, but I mean, you need a Maya in those situations.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gandalf would be my answer as well.
I agree.
Easy.
Again, Die Bart Die on Twitter asks, which A Song of Ice and Fire house do you belong to? So what do you think, John?
Are
you a Stark?
I've never read the books of A Song of Ice and Fire. I was a big fan of Game of Thrones, the TV series, but so I don't know all of the the things that didn't appear in the series, of course.
No, but
I don't know all the
know the main ones. Like,
I
you're
do.
hardly
Yeah.
going to pick.
I
don't know, the cat's wagon, or I just made that up, but there's probably some weird ones out there.
The cat's pajamas.
The cat's pajamas.
I don't know. I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I want to live in Dorne. Is there a family? Is there a
the Martells, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, Martell. Yeah. Sorry, So where the Martells are from?
Yeah. Fair.
What's his sigil? What's his house?
House
The
Martell.
Martells? House Martell. Okay,
I can't remember what the sigil looks like. Yeah, that's a good one. And he's a cool character.
Yeah, he's a really cool character. It just looks like a class place to live.
It does, yeah.
Like, it's a nice temperature. Climate looks nice. Dorne has some beautiful women. And I don't know. I reckon that'd be a nice.
Well, if that's the case, yeah, since you're living in Spain, which is like Dorne, I would have to be in Ireland with the crappy weather. So I would be probably...
Oh, the Iron Islands.
Yeah, I'd be a Greyjoy.
You'd be a Greyjoy. You big loser.
Yeah, that would suck. No, obviously, if I had to pick, I'd be... Well, everyone would want to be a Stark, but I'd like to be down south with the Lannisters. I'd like to be a royal.
That'd be pretty cool as well, playing all the mind games.
Yeah. So yeah, Lannister and Martell. There you go.
Very good.
Winter is coming.
I'm at Willicon on Instagram asks, Frodo or Luke, Saruman or Vader? So for you, Frodo or Luke?
Book Frodo.
And Saruman or Vader?
Vader. Let's give one to Lord of the Rings and one to Star Wars.
Yeah, like I went for controversial, but I went both Luke and Vader. But yeah, you'd be right. Like Frodo, book Frodo. But like they gave us the best two of the best Star Wars characters, and then
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could have been like Luke or Aragorn and
if
Vader
it was,
or Sauron or like Morgoth or something, you know, so,
or Gandalf or something
or
like
Gandalf,
that.
yeah. But I mean, to be like the evil character,
It's a different story if they gave us different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So out of those two characters, again, yeah, I mean, when I saw Frodo or Luke, I could have gone for Luke as well. I mean, there was a part of my initial thought was to go for Luke, but I was like thinking, but I've got so much more of a connection with the character of Frodo thanks to the books. If we're just going off the movies, I'd maybe go for Luke. But because there's so much more in the books that you can really like dive into the character of Frodo, I'd say I would probably go for him.
Anywho on Twitter asks, who is your favorite football player and why?
I mean,
Viva
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Exactly. I was going to start saying like
Viva Ronaldo.
So Cristiano Ronaldo is my favorite football player. I put down he's my favorite like currently playing football player as well, because I put down
Ronaldinho for you, is it?
I did. I put down Ronaldinho as my favorite retired football player as well, because
what happens when Ronaldo retires? Or is that ever going to happen in your lifetime?
him and Ronaldinho, you know, they get married and they live happily ever after. And,
yeah, but then who's your favorite retired football
they're my
player?
favorite couple.
All right. Couple of
No,
football
look,
players.
yeah. Let's not get to that question yet. But yeah, I just said I had to put those two down. Ronaldo, for the time that's in it, he's back home.
Back where he belongs.
At United, so back where he belongs. And Ronaldinho as just one of the greatest players, one of the most, the most joyful players to ever play the game. He just brought so much happiness and skill to the game. He was just blew everyone's mind when he came on the scene. And I remember going over. I remember having some friends from the States when I was around like 2006, around like prime Ronaldinho when he won the Ballon d'Or, and just trying to explain, like they didn't, like my friends from America, they didn't know anything about football. And I remember just like, this is when YouTube was just starting, and I was like trying to show them clips of this like Brazilian football player, and they were just like not at all interested, but I insisted on showing them many hours of football videos of look what he could do with the ball. And so he was definitely one of the footballers that got me most excited about football as a teenager.
Yeah, cool. Great answer.
What about you?
Oh yeah, no, Ronaldo is mine.
Ronaldo, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I also think like Ronaldo would be mine, but Rooney has a special place in my heart. I think it was whenever he started playing for United, that was probably when I first like kind of got into football. So I feel like I watched his whole career. Ronaldo probably came just before. He was a little bit earlier, and I don't know, something about Rooney, especially that he stayed longer as well. I've always loved him, even through his like dark time at United, like around 2010, 2011, when he wanted to go to Chelsea and all that. And I just remember people like kind of almost laughing at me and at United, being like, ha, he's going and whatever. I remember the lads at school like giving me all their shit, and I was so happy when he signed a contract at United, when he came out and was like, no, I'm staying here. And I was like, oh, I love him. So there you go.
Epic player, yeah.
So Viking Out of Time on Twitter asks, boil him, mash him, or stick him in a stew? I like this one.
Brilliant question. Well, each has a time and a place, is what I would say. And as an Irish man, it's very hard to think of any style of potato in a bad way, as long as it's cooked right. But maybe right now I'm in the mood for stew.
Oh, there you go. I would say mashed. That would be my answer. But yeah, I agree.
They all
with you
sound
too.
good to me.
They all sound pretty good. Fala Stesso on Twitter says, Aule problems with his Maiar. Perhaps Aule could do more to train and educate them. Myron and Karumo ended. I don't know. Is that a question or is that a statement?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Myron and Kurumo are also known as Sauron and Saruman. So the question, cryptic question if you don't really know what he's talking about. So basically, Aule was the smith Valar, Vala, who we've spoken about before. And we all know, well, if you've listened to some of our previous podcasts, you should know that each Vala had a whole host of Maiar kind of serving them, and they were in their service, and they were kind of like being trained by the Vala or the Valar, and they were learning skills off each of the Valar as well. So 2 of the Maiar that were under Aule's guidance both turned out to be 2 very evil characters, which were both Sauron and Saruman. So the question here that Fallow Stesso is asking is, if this Vala had some sort of what's his problem? Could he do more to train and educate them if 2 of his kind of students,
his Maiar, are all becoming corrupt?
They're all turning to shit.
What's going on?
Now, I would say that it's possible that the problem lies with Aule, for sure, but I could put it back the other way and say that if the Maiar turning evil was kind of random, and it's like, if when Melkor turned evil and he just kind of had, let's just say, a random load of Maiar became evil and they left with him and they became evil. If a load of those, out of all of the Maiar that became evil, 2 of the most brilliant of those were both Aule's students. And so maybe you could say that he had the students who became the strongest. So maybe he was the best teacher. Maybe he was the best of giving his students the knowledge and the power that they needed to go on and do well in their own, in their own lives. But obviously, if they turned evil, they would use their powers for evil. So I don't know. It's an interesting question, but it depends on the way that you look at it. Maybe, as I said, it wasn't just Aule's kind of students who turned evil. There were Maiar from all the Valar that kind of turned to darkness. So
yeah. And if you had listened to the Moria episode where we were discussing this as well, I actually was a bit confused, if you remember well, and I kind of thought Aule was a bit, or kind of had like,
I
thought he was a bit bad himself. So there you go. Yeah, but
it is a confusing area.
So End Designs on Instagram asks, chocolate or strawberry?
Chocolate.
I said chocolate too. Chocolate everything for me.
Very nice.
Jackers with 3Ks or 4Ks on Twitter asks, if you were in any race in Middle Earth, A, which one would you want to be? And B, which one do you think you would be?
Which one would I want to be first?
I said I would want to be an elf, but I would probably be a hobbit.
I think I'd said something similar. I said, I'd probably be a hobbit, but I'd want to be, I said a couple of different ones. I said I'd want to be an elf because they're just glorious.
Majestic.
I'd want to be an ent because you'd have great naps.
That's true.
And maybe a Haradrim for the Mumical rides. That'd be good crack as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. But I think we'd both end up being hobbits.
Yeah. It's just, we kind of are hobbits anyways.
And the older you get, you kind of go, geez, the hobbits had the right idea, didn't they?
Yeah. You grow up watching the movies, wanting to be Aragorn, Legolas, or Gimli, but in the end, you're like, look at the hobbits, like.
Yeah, they know. They know what's going on.
Crepusculi on Twitter asks, who gave the better speech in the movies, Aragorn at the Black Gate or Theoden at Pelennor?
2 great speeches, but for me, it has to be Theoden's speech at the Pelennor Fields. It's so epic.
Yeah, Theoden for me, it's breathtaking.
Arise! Arise, riders of Theoden! Spears shall be shaken! Shields shall be splintered! A sword day! A red day! And the sun rises!
Spec for David on Twitter asks, when is the Middle Earth 4K set coming out in the States? In the United States?
Absolute states over there. I've no idea. Do you know?
According to Nerd of the Rings, I only just saw it there the last day that it's out in the UK on October the 26th, and I think you can get it sent over to America from Amazon. So it looks pretty cool. I didn't really hear much about it before, but it's basically a 31 disc of everything. It's all the Hobbits, all the Lord of the Rings, all the behind the scenes of both, and then and that's in 8K, I think. No, 4K. Sorry. And then they also have everything with the Blu-ray as well. So they have the Blu-ray Hobbits and the Blu-ray Lord of the Rings. So
wow. So it's one set to rule them all.
One set to rule them all. And there's loads of like little posters and artwork and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Very if good. You want to spend $260,
yeah, it's not bad.
There you go. So Thurman24 on Instagram asks, since Marvel's What If has arrived, my question would be, what if each of the members of the Fellowship, along with one accompanying member, took the task of taking the ring to Mount Doom? I.e., what if Merry and Pippin, or Gimli and Legolas, or any other pair, or even Gandalf and Frodo, or possibly a pair outside the Fellowship? So I'm guessing they're asking which two would we like to see buddy up in Frodo and Sam's position instead of Frodo and Sam.
Another very good question. My answer would have to be Gandalf and Pippin. I mean, is that your answer?
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of different ones, but yeah, that was.
I mean, that's like I'd love to watch like a full series of just Gandalf and Pippin on their own adventures, and just Pippin doing stupid things and Gandalf getting pissed off, but then Pippin like, I'll do something that only a hobbit could do, like climbing up to the peak and stuff. And he's back in the good books again. Like I could definitely watch a lot of that.
Yeah, the adventures of Gandalf and Pippin.
Yeah,
I wrote down I'd like to see Frodo and Legolas because they don't speak to each other at all, so that would be interesting to see.
It'd be a silent
movie,
a mime, yeah.
But also I think it would be cool to get Boromir and Aragorn because just the adventures would be class.
That bromance.
There wouldn't be much diversity between the two of them, but like it would just be so cool seeing them back to back, fighting loads of orcs all the time, and just seeing Boromir alive and unspoiled.
Whenever I read the Fellowship of the Ring, and I read that chapter when they're up on the Red Horn, up on Caradhras, and they're almost like freezing to death, and
saving all the rest
of the hobbits,
and
then like Boromir and Aragorn just spend the night digging out that path, and they're just the way Tolkien describes them as just being these two like huge warriors, and they're so strong, and they spend the whole night just digging away and carrying all of the members out, and you're kind of going, man, that's so cool. So yeah, I'd love to see those two guys buddy up and have plenty of adventures and battles.
Yeah, and if you guys would want to send in who your buddies would be, let us know. Would it be Boromir and Aragorn, or Gandalf and Pippin?
Or like Eowyn and Galadriel, Oh,
that would be sick.
That would be pretty class.
And finally, Bliss Hughes on Twitter says, the Lord of the Rings films are laden with incredible imagery and boast an upfront appreciation for nature, much like the books. Since seeing the films and reading the books, where is the top place you have travelled that took your breath away?
Lovely question.
Yeah.
Think about this now. I mean, one of the first places that comes to mind is when you and I were both up in Lake Como in northern Italy.
Yeah.
That's like just stunning, spectacular scenery, and so beautiful.
I was thinking the same trip, but when we went to La Cinque Terre.
Yeah. Italy's a beautiful country. There's lots of fantastic places to see there. I think I don't know. I haven't had time to like really let this question ferment in my mouth, and I haven't been able to read it. Yeah. So I don't know, but that's off the top of my head. That's the first thing that comes to mind. So that's probably going to be my answer. Yeah.
That would be the same for me. And we were lucky that we got to see it together as well. So that'd be cool. But who knows?
Shared experience.
Yeah, share the load. We might sometime get to go to Middle Earth itself, New Zealand.
Oh yeah, that's the dream.
It's definitely on the bucket list.
If you ever go there without me, I'm going to punch you right in the nose.
I'm going to cancel those tickets.
But Also, if you're feeling generous and you want to sponsor David Johnny's Mellon Head tour of New Zealand, we're here, guys. We're here, guys. We won't turn that down.
It'd be safer to just buy tickets in our name and just send them to us in the post, along with your Lego sets. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would end this way.
End? No, the journey doesn't end here. Death is just another path. One that we all must take.
Well, guys, that's it for both of our Ask Us Anything episodes. We hope you've enjoyed them, and we are very sorry if we didn't get to answer your question, but we might revisit this type of episode down the line. We also hope you enjoyed that surprise cameo from our dear mum, who interrupted us while recording this episode. Send her in some love if you want, but if you'd like to ask us a question or get in touch, you can check out all our links in the podcast info section. If you want to sponsor us, head over to buymeacoffee.com/the Mellon Heads, and we'll give you a shout out. Until next time, guys, Namarie.